jealous now. I feel like I need to use this. Otherwise, I don't know.
Please do. I'll go first with a question.
Are you going? We're going straight in.
Yeah. I've got a really good one actually. Let me go. I've got a couple, but this one I feel is burning on my chest. How are you, mate?
All right, very good.
Yeah, I'm good. That is a really good question, actually. Yeah, no, I'm fine, to be honest. I mean, it hasn't been too different for me, other than not touring, really. I'm lucky in that I can work. I've got a space where I can work here from home, so it's been quite easy, really. And I've probably been kind of more productive in certain ways than I would have been, and less productive in other ways. But I mean, just generally, like I'm fairly good, apart from just the obvious frustrations of not being able to see people. And what about you guys?
I've got a very good setup here actually.
Yeah,
it's pretty legit.
Run us through it, Jim. What have you got?
That's a bit boring, isn't it? Don't want to bore people with how legit my setup is. No, I just got a little Focusrite and that's it.
You need though.
Yeah.
If you were starting out again on your production journey and you had £1,000 to spend, say you've already got a Mac, what do you think are the most important things you could spend that on if someone wanted to get a little home setup going?
Assuming you're not going to spend it on instruments, then yeah, I guess it would be probably like KRK monitors, just like, because they're good and cheap, and then some sort of like smaller, like maybe like 2 in 2 out, like Focusrite kind of smaller interface, and then yeah, I guess like a decent condenser mic, half decent condenser mic is just hugely important because you can record anything with it. Other than that, I mean, like if you're doing like slightly more stuff, like an SM57 is always good for like, just if you're doing like guitar cabs and all that sort of stuff, or like double micing guitar and stuff. But yeah, I mean, you can get and you could probably get all of that for under £1,000, really. I mean, yeah, you can definitely get, but it's like you said, it's just having those basics are so important, especially at the moment, because just being able to send each other ideas and you can do a lot with it, like more than you'd expect. So yeah. Do you find this period has influenced how you've written or done stuff at all?
I think it's definitely had an effect on the way that we do stuff.
Yeah.
Like definitely, because I don't know if we would have like had a go at producing ourselves if we weren't sort of forced to, in a way. And then just sort of encourage us to have some like very useful conversations amongst ourselves, just to be like, okay, look, everyone's in a bit of a tricky situation, like that's not news. How do we work still? How do we keep busy? And we just try to write songs, and then after like writing, we're like, well, actually these sound okay, maybe we can push it a bit like further. And I know it sounds silly, but for the longest time in my head anyway, I always thought that you needed to have Pro Tools if you were going to record something properly. Like if you're going to put something out in the world, you need to have Pro Tools.
Well, it's got Pro in it, right? So
exactly. Like you're not a professional without Pro Tools.
Yeah.
Every studio session that I've been in, like they always had Pro Tools up. So I was like, oh, I just had like a real hang up with it. And then I remember seeing a Instagram live that James Blake did when he was like, oh, the DAW that I use is Logic. And my brain exploded because I was like, it's possible. It's actually possible to use Logic, which we have, to put out music that sounds great. So that just encouraged me to like really start digging, I think, and like seeing how much I can get out of what I have. And yeah, it's nice. It's nice to like not have too much as well. I know that we kind of we started the conversation with like gear and all the rest of it, but I didn't actually use this mic to record any of the vocals. I just used my iPhone, and I didn't even really use the interface much. Like I'm not even joking. Like I recorded the guitar using my iPhone, I did the vocals using my iPhone, and then I would just like airdrop them to my Mac. So I don't need to waste time plugging in my interface, and then I'll just use it that way. And yeah, to a point, like it's amazing just how much you can get from like those, just like a very simple tool like your phone. So yeah, it's like a long-winded answer
That's
question.
great. I mean, there's a lot to be said about that, and like I was just saying to Alex the other day about how if it sounds good, then it is good. Like you don't. I know that in your head you can make things like seem not right or seem not done properly because they weren't done, whatever, in Pro Tools or in a studio or whatever. But it doesn't really matter if it sounds good. I mean, like Ali uses Novo Amor uses Logic. He's always used that. I mean, obviously use Ableton. I'm just imagining in my head now Jim walking into mine and seeing that he's in Ableton and just thinking, fucking. Yeah, it's just, I guess that's just what I learn on, and it's always just what you learn on is what you use. But yeah, Logic is like, to me, Logic is the go-to. I mean, it's the only one I can't really use. Well, I'm not liking this process that well, but yeah, it's so good for how much you pay for it and what you can get out of it. It's just crazy.
Mm. Have you and Ali been working remotely then, or have you guys managed to get some sessions in face to face, or what have you guys done?
Not too much. I mean, we've done because he's in the process of moving house at the moment, so we're kind of waiting until he's done that, because he's like building a little studio space at his new place, like a separate from the house thing. So that would be cool. But until he's got that set up, we're kind of waiting. There's been a few things that we've been potentially kind of looking at whether we wanted to do. We're looking at maybe doing like some sort of live stream thing, but we want to like put a lot of effort into it and do it like properly and stuff. But so it's that, and then there's been a couple of other things that we've been working on together, but not really Novo stuff. Like we're doing a collaborative song with, which is super cool. But
amazing.
Yeah, but so Ali did some mixing on that, and it's again, that's another thing about collaboration, like just being able to send it to someone and then just them freshening it up and doing something different with it. It's just so important. Like I think I had that track to a place I was fairly happy with, and I sent it to Ali, and then he's a much better mixer than me, but he did like quite a lot of like cool things on it, and it's just like, fuck, like this sounds so much better. And then you approach it in a different way, and so yeah, but yeah, we've been doing like bits and pieces here and there, but more kind of production or mixing-y stuff, nothing like really writing wise. We've got a couple of ideas, but excited to kind of get back into that probably like, I don't know, like April, May or something this year. But yeah,
nice.
That would be the next thing. It's so weird because we've had a record come out that it was the first Novo record that we'd written that was written after we'd done a load of touring. Like Birthplace, which came out in 2018, was after that record came out, was the first like big load of touring we'd done. And then since then we've done, multiple US, UK, EU tours. And now we'd written a record that we were so excited to tour because a lot of the songs are much more upbeat and just more fun and easier and, cool to play live. And we haven't been able to, and it's been super frustrating, but it's just everyone's in that boat. I mean, I think it's kind of the best thing to be able to look forward to is, that eventually you'll be able to do those tours, but it will still feel really weird being, completely off album cycle but still wanting to tour this record. I don't know when the next Novo record will come out, but assuming we'll do some touring before then, hopefully. But yeah, it's pretty weird.
I've just spent the week listening to live music. I've just been rinsing so much live music on YouTube.
It's easy to forget what it's like, I guess. And then when you do remember what it's like fuck, like it's been a long time.
Yeah. Especially
like that
one of
feeling. There you go, mate.
Sorry, mate. I was gonna say our last like proper
that
live
feeling.
Our last live show was like tail end of 2019, like a proper last live show, headline show. Was kind of a real moment for us. We headlined the O'Meara, and one of the last songs we played was Smoke, and there was that moment where the entire audience were just screaming the lyrics back to us, which was just such an amazing moment. And that like just kind of hanging on to that, I guess, because it's we're in 2021 now and we still haven't played a live show since.
You were just about to go to China when we last were
together. So Ali sent me a screenshot the other day of a message between us. Andy, our manager, had told us to get some like proper like heavy duty like face masks. It was after like COVID, we knew COVID was like a thing and we probably weren't going to go to China, but I think I said like to Ali, like, did you end up getting those face masks? And he was like, oh no. And I was like, oh, I was just wondering because, wood might have been useful for us at some point and Ali was like, yeah, it'd have to get pretty bad for us to be wearing masks. And now it's just like a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was so weird knowing, because I think it was like, I guess the first time I mentioned it, we saw, because it was like in our interest that, going to China, and we were like, make sure it was okay. It was like, I guess January, and then it was like, oh, there's this thing, but it'll probably be fine. And then yeah, we just had to cancel it pretty quickly. But we were going literally in March, like it was, I think mid-March or something. We were supposed to be going. So
Wow.
if it had broken any later, we probably would have been like stuck there, or I don't know.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's
Jeez.
gutting that we didn't get to go, but I mean, we'll get to go hopefully at some point. But yeah, that was super weird.
What was the purpose for that trip? Were you going there to play shows?
Yeah, we had like a full, how many dates it was, like maybe 8 or 9 dates in, I think maybe 6 or 7 in China, and then a couple in some other places in Asia. But it was all like fully sold out. Like we were so excited to go.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Would
Really
that
It'll
be
happen.
the first Novo trip to Asia?
Yeah, well, we played a single show in Indonesia before, because it was like a festival we got offered there, and also the video that we did for Terraform was filmed in this volcano, like these sulfur miners, like about them, and we got to actually go there and like hike up this volcano stuff, which was really, really cool.
Wow.
But yeah, that was a while ago actually, and it's funny you say that, because that was the show that really got to me and Ali in terms of having audiences singing back to you, because it was it's a really weird room. It's like a massive like function room, like the kind of like not like huge, but probably like I want to say like 2,000 people, maybe more than that, I don't know, but like the kind of room where you'd have like they'd hire out for like a big event or something, like really tall ceilings and stuff. But anyway, yeah, it was like this like weird like indoor festival. Like I don't think it wasn't like even at night. It was like in the middle of the day or something. But it was like huge, and like I think Novo was one of like the bigger. I think it was like, I don't know if we were headlining necessarily. Maybe we were. I can't remember. But yeah, just having this like huge load of people like really obviously singing back to Anchor, because at the moment, when I say at the moment, I've done it for a year and a half, but when we play Anchor, it's just Ali on piano, and just obviously the rest of the band can all just watch basically, and just so many people singing the chorus back to him in a place that we'd never been before. It's just so weird.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, amazing feeling. But yeah, that was really cool. But yeah, we'd love to go back, like, but I don't know when it'll happen now.
Cheers, mate. Good to
Thanks,
Pleasure.
Ed.
All right.
Nice one, mate.
Yeah, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.